Jeez, you know what I'm saying? You
on
the
struggle.
Something
where Karis One was on CNBC.
Yeah.
And you know he was getting interviewed by a crazy dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, in your records, you know, it's okay for you to say nigga and this and this and that. And he's like, no, it's not okay to call a black person a nigga. N-I-G-G-E-R.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a difference between N-I-G-G-A. He was like making a difference. Like he was actually trying to explain to this guy that, you know, out of all our poverty, we took the most ugliest word and we turned it around. We got your kids calling each other niggas. And he was like, and the dude kept trying to go back and forth and like make it sound more negative. And he's just like, you know, you are living in your own world and you want to spin it that way. But this is the reality of it.
That's like one of those tricky. I
go back and forth about that.
I go back and forth about it too. And I'm like, you know, we live in a different time and how big media is. And there's a cat Mark. He plays in a hardcore band. He's a white cat. And every other word out of his mouth at times, I'm like, yo.
Are you serious?
But he doesn't mean it like this. He's like, yo, you know my nigga, this and that.
Crazy.
And it fucks with me. But at the same token, I'm like, I understand why he says it.
Well, see, okay, this is the problem. This is some secret shit that will get cut from this tape. Because what happened is that back in the days, black people have always referred to one another. And our elders always say, oh no, that's not true. It was just a secret. What? That's the problem. When black folks would refer one another as nigga or whatever, anything derogatory like that, it was never in the company of anybody other than ourselves. It was like our own personal secret. It's like, you know, if your native tongue is Spanish, when you get around the family, y'all speak Spanish to each other, you know, but when other folks come around, you speak English. It's the same thing. And I think that that's when the problem started, is when it became like okay to say it in front of everybody. And then it like turned into this other thing. And I go back and forth. My mom would kill me if she ever heard me say nigga. She would kill me.
It's crazy because you think about the word, right? And you be like, yeah, that's my nigga. If you get into a heated argument, motherfucker's like, I said no, nigga, I ain't paying you.
Yeah.
Then you get offended.
Yes,
You're like,
that's right, because it turns into something else.
Exactly.
You know, but so, you know, well, see, for me, I use nigga as a noun. I call everybody nigga. I call my boss, who's white, nigga. For me, nigga it's a negative thing. I generally use it as a negative. So anybody that's pissing me off, who is doing something that I find, you know, irritating, is that nigga. And I actually wrote a poem about it, you know, like, how did you become that nigga? Because it's like one of those things where, you know,
this
you go
from that you will have people debate about back and forth until there is no more land left.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
you will get into this thing. I'm telling you,
because
it'll change. It'll go back to a positive thing when, say, somebody really does something good for you, like out of nowhere, and you be like, damn, that's my nigga right there. So you'll always have this scale going like this, depending on how the word is used.
I think it depends. It also depends on your experience, because I gotta say, when I was in 8th grade, I was living in Detroit at the time, and me and my girlfriend had gone to McDonald's, and we were in the parking lot. We were in the parking lot, and there was a car full of white guys. There was maybe 4 of them, and they pulled up, and they were walking, you know, a few feet behind us, and one of them said, "Go back to African, nigga." And I remember being stunned. That was the first time I had ever been called nigga by somebody that wasn't black. And I was just like, and I was so stunned that my best comeback was, your mama. And we ran into the McDonald's, but I remember being scared to death, first of all, because I'm like, well, you know, who are these guys that they would say that to me? And at that time, it gave me pause, because just a little while before that happened, I had been listening to Eddie Murphy, Delirious. And I remember, you know, every other word out of his mouth was nigga. And I was listening to it and just laughing, oh, ha, ha, it's the funniest thing. And then my mom came in and I immediately turned it off. I was like, and she's like, why were you laughing? What was so funny? And I was like, Eddie Murphy. She's like, oh, I like comedy. I like to laugh. Let's see what this is. And I'm like, oh my God. So I pressed play and she was like, is this what you're listening to? And I remember being mortified and thinking to myself, she doesn't understand. He doesn't mean it like that, you know. But then having this experience a few weeks later with these guys, I was like, okay, now I see where my mom is coming from, and now I see that it has a completely different meaning from what I ever even thought of. So it's like I see both sides, and I just feel like I've been on the train and I hear these kids.
Ping pong table with this.
Yes, I see these kids on the train and they're calling each other nigga, and I feel horrified. I'm saying to myself, oh my God, please stop.
I've been through that situation too, where like after a while the boss was like, damn, every other word, nigga, like come on. I try to make it my business, even when I wrote like rounds I've been writing, I like switch it up to dude and duke, and just to change it around to get away from it, and also not to say it as much. So if I get mad at somebody for saying it, I have just cause.
Yeah.
You can't tell me.
Perpetuating it yourself.
You can't tell me anything. When do you ever hear me like, what's up, nigga? Like I try to stay away from it to a certain degree. But again, like
remember we had that conversation.
It's like being on a ping pong table.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back and forth, back and forth.
Remember we talked about this when we were driving the car with Dan? I was like, you're freaky. How you feel about the word? And we had this debate, I don't know, sometimes, sometimes it just
I called you when me and Mike got into it, and he was like, when he he talked to me like I was some dude off the street.
Yeah. It's just
I would talk to you right now, nigga.
It's like
easy.
I think it depends on how you're. I remember being in high school and this kid saying to me, his name was Daniel Stiles, and he said, Daniel, how come you guys can call each other nigga but I can't? And I said, well, it's kind of like. You can call your mom a bitch, but I can't. I was like, if you say, my mom's a bitch, and I say, yeah, your mom is a bitch. You be ready to kick my ass, right? And he's like, yeah, okay. But that's how I always kind of thought of it, that it's something for us, by us. I mean, I believe in, folks getting along and holding hands and singing Kumbaya and all that. My mom raised me that way, but it's like, I don't think I would ever get comfortable with hearing a white person refer to me as nigga, GA, or ER. It would, I would be taken aback by it. I would definitely have, because
it does do that.
Yeah, because there's just certain, for me, there's a line, and it doesn't have anything to do with.
I can't lie about that one. It does do that.
How much I value my friend.
My problem with this whole deal is that they took us to this point, people in general. And got us so fucking distracted by all of these other things that we don't even realize that this shit is really about class. It's about class. White nigga, black nigga, Chinese nigga, it's all the same shit. Everybody's trying to get to a certain space, but they want us all to recognize, hey, you got a little shirt. I realize we're all in the same bracket. Like, these big corporations are buying up shit, shutting down shit, getting into power, taking away stuff. To keep you from paying attention to shit. I mean, we watched the crazy movie, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the title of the movie on tape, but you watch this movie and it'll change everything you think about. Everything you look at right now, you will never look at the same after watching this movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's America. America is all about,
Well, this is world shit. This is past America.
Well, see, you make a valid point, but. And I don't know how this turned into a race discussion, but to me, there is a difference. White nigga, Chinese nigga, all that. There's a difference because ultimately, we're black first, and there's a special kind of discrimination for black people. That no matter how much money you have, it's like Oprah when she went to the Hermes shop and they wouldn't let her in.
Yeah.
If she was, a white person on the come up that was new money or whatever, she would have gotten into that store because, regardless of what her backstory was, they would have seen her white skin and she'd have been all right.